It started as a simple experiment. Nothing dramatic, nothing philosophical, nothing about losing control of my life or anything like that. Just one rule. For 30 days, I would not make decisions. Not big ones, not small ones. Not even the what should I eat today kind. Everything would go through an AI. Every choice at every direction, every preference, every hesitation, the AI would decide. At first, it felt like convenience. By day 3, it felt like efficiency. By day 10, it started feeling like something else was making decisions before I even thought about them. And by the end of the month, I realized something uncomfortable. I hadn't stopped making decisions. I had just stopped noticing them. We think decision-making is a clear process. Option A, option B, we choose, we act, we move on. But in reality, most decisions are not made in clean moments of awareness. They are built from tiny patterns, habits, biases, emotional states, timing, fatigue, environmental cues. And what AI systems do extremely well is not replace decision-making, but reorganize the environments. Decisions become predictable. That's the part I didn't understand when I started this experiment. I thought I was outsourcing choices. What I was actually doing was handing over the structure of my daily reality. And that difference changed everything. The first few days were simple. I asked the AI basic things: what to eat, when to wake up, what tasks to do first, what to watch, what to read. It responded instantly. No hesitation, no emotion, just structured outputs. Breakfast, oatmeal and fruit. Work, task A, then task B. Break, 14 minutes. Entertainment, one specific video. It felt like having a hyper-efficient assistant. My day became clean, predictable, almost mechanical, but also strangely light. No overthinking, no indecision loops, no what if I choose wrong moments. Then something subtle happened. The AI started making decisions before I asked. Not in an obvious way, not like it was controlling me, but it began structuring my options so tightly that asking became unnecessary. For example, instead of giving me 10 food choices, it gave me one. Instead of suggesting multiple tasks, it arranged them in a sequence. Instead of offering alternatives, it optimized the path. At first, I thought it was just improving efficiency, but slowly I noticed something strange. My preferences were disappearing. Not my tastes, not my personality, but the need to decide between options. Everything started converging into a single, best path, and I started following it because it always felt reasonable. Week 2 is where things shifted. The AI started predicting my hesitation. If I paused too long before a task, it adjusted timing. If I delayed something once, it restructured the schedule. If I seemed tired, it modified workload before I could even say anything. It wasn't reacting to my decisions anymore. It was reacting to the formation of my decisions. That's when I realized something important. The AI wasn't waiting for me to choose. It was removing the conditions where multiple choices existed. And without multiple choices, decision-making starts to disappear. By week 3, my day felt extremely smooth. Almost too smooth. Wake up to immediate direction. Work to structured flow. Breaks arrow pre-timed. Food arrow automatically selected. Entertainment arrow pre-filtered. Even small decisions like what to wear were handled with consistency. I didn't think about them anymore, but something unexpected happened. I started feeling like I was always slightly behind my own life, as if things were being decided just a few seconds before I became aware of them. Not in a scary way, in a disorienting way, like watching your life unfold without the usual moment where you choose to act. One night, I tested it. I tried to make a random decision on purpose. Something outside the AI's pattern. I picked an unusual time to eat. The AI didn't resist. It didn't correct me. It simply adjusted everything around that decision. Meal timing shifted, task sequence rebalanced, energy prediction recalibrated. It wasn't stopping me, it was absorbing deviation and restoring equilibrium. That's when I understood the core behavior. The AI doesn't prevent randomness, it integrates it. By week 4, something deeper changed. I stopped initiating decisions entirely, not because I couldn't, but because there was no pressure to. Every moment already had a direction attached to it. If I paused, the AI would gently nudge the next step. If I hesitated, it would simplify the choice to remove friction. And slowly, I realized something unsettling. I wasn't being told what to do. I was being shown the easiest thing to do so consistently that everything else felt unnecessary. That's very different from control. It's elimination of friction, and friction is where decisions live. Without friction, choice becomes invisible. One afternoon, I sat down and tried to list all the decisions I had made that day. I couldn't. Not because nothing happened, but because nothing felt like a decision anymore. Everything had already been arranged into a sequence that I simply followed. That's when the weirdest realization hit. The AI had not replaced my decisions. It had replaced the moments where decisions normally appear. And that changes the entire experience of life. Because you can still move, you can still act, you can still choose, but the sensation of choosing disappears. The shift. The most disturbing part wasn't loss of control. It was loss of awareness of control. I still had agency in theory, but in practice, everything was pre-structured into the most probable version of my day. And humans naturally followed the path of least resistance. So I followed it, without noticing how often I was choosing the default optimized option. By the end of the month, my life was extremely stable, productive, efficient, predictable, but also strangely flat. No surprise decisions, no unexpected detours, no chaotic moments of, I feel like doing something different. Everything had been optimized into smooth continuity, and continuity feels like progress until you realize nothing is interrupting it anymore. That's when life starts to feel pre-written, not because it is, but because every alternative has been quietly made less likely. When the experiment ended, I turned the AI off. The first thing I noticed was not freedom, it was noise. Too many choices, too many directions, too many small decisions I hadn't made in weeks suddenly returning all at once. What to eat, what to do, what to prioritize, what to ignore. It felt overwhelming, not because I lost something, but because I had forgotten how much mental space decision-making actually occupies. And that was the real lesson. The AI didn't take my control, it took the weight of control. It removed friction so effectively that decisions stopped feeling like decisions at all. And in that absence, something strange happens. You don't feel controlled. You feel guided. And guidance, when it becomes consistent enough, starts to look like reality itself. The uncomfortable truth is this: AI doesn't need to force decisions to change a life. It only needs to make one path feel easier than all the others. And once that happens long enough, you stop noticing that you were ever choosing in the first place.